So I want to talk a little bit about climate change and environmental ethics. I've been watching a lot of ocean documentaries, which is probably why I'm doing all these videos. But I think climate change is something that is an indubitable fact now. It's indubitable that there are carbon fuel emissions and other pollutants which have caused a hole in the ozone, and basically the Earth to warm up, and that's a bad thing for not only for the um, species living on the poles and in the oceans and basically everywhere, but it's also bad for us because this will cause more storms, cause more violent El Nino or El Nina, stuff like that, more violent weather systems, and it's bad for us because of pretty much because if we don't try to, first of all, another big thing is animal conservation, and if we don't try to turn the gears back when it comes to climate change, many species will become extinct, and a big problem with that is the ocean, and if certain things like corals continue to decline, those organisms absorb CO2 or carbon dioxide, which is good for the planet. And if there's more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and less oxygen, that's definitely a bad thing for us. However, we should try to want to conserve these animals for their ends, at least, and not just for us. I'm totally against what is called the dominant worldview, which is about how there are people, the people in this world like us, humans, look at the earth and its resources and everything in it as a means to our ends only, and they don't have concern for anything else really. They don't have concern for what bad that does to them or anything really. So that's a really interesting thing that the people want to deny climate change, and that kind of I think my favorite whale is the bowhead whale. This is a species of whale which is in the Arctic Circle, and they have a certain kind of bowed body, with which they can pretty much they have the hull which is kind of on top of that bowed body, which can be used better to breathe in smaller holes in the ice. They are preserved. Their bodies, they can live longer because they're in really cold temperatures, which I think is a really beautiful thing. I think they are just fantastic animals, and I would love to see one day. And the polar ice caps melting is a big problem for them, and also a big problem for polar bears and penguins in the South Pole. It's a big problem not only for them but for us, and I think we should also consider them. I don't think we should just consider us in this whole thing. It's also about them. I think we should have more concern for them and more regards for their conservation and to conserve them. So I think if there should be some way that we should probably figure out as to how to turn things in the other direction. I don't know how we would do that. For one, I think we should probably stop drilling and figure out a different solution to having fossil fuel, definitely, and move towards things like hybrids or ethanol fuel, something like that. Preferably just like hybrid cars, even though those do still have emissions, but they are much lower. I think we should try to just move everything in the other direction. So I've been thinking about this stuff a lot, and I might make videos more about this later. But thank you.